Hello internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Creation Miss Couture, and today we are going to attempt dyeing naturally again because like I said, I have hyperfixation happening from time to time and I'm bringing you with me in that madness. So today what happened is that I was actually cleaning up my cupboard in my kitchen and I found an old sachet packet. I don't know. I found a dried dragon fruit powder, and what basically I did was grab that packet and I was wondering if I could dye with it. So, this is exactly what we're doing today. We're going to see if we can dye with dragon fruit powder from my cabinet before it expires. So, let's get into this.
Hello. So, welcome back to another episode of my obsessions, I guess. So, apparently, right now, my obsessions is natural dyeing. And you know what I found when I was doing some cleaning up in my pantry? Well, I found this dragon fruit powder, and it is 100% dragon fruit powder. Wait, can you see it? No, you can't. And I was like, well, you know what? Might as well try to see if we can dye with that. So I'm going to be measuring it and trying to do a 1% depth of shade. So I will measure it the same way I would measure my other dyes. So I want to do 2 skeins of yarn. So I'm going to be measuring 2 grams of this powder and we shall see if we can dye with that. Why not? This is where we're at, friends. So let's measure this. I don't know why I'm being so obsessed with natural dyeing lately, but that's life, I guess. So I'm going to try to measure 2 grams. Oops, I've got much more than 2 grams in there. Still too much. Okay, a little too much. And although technically this is edible, I will not eat anything coming from this because I'm only using my dedicated dye equipment to dye, even though we're using natural dyes because it's important to avoid cross contamination. Okay, let's go to 200 milliliters. It makes a very pretty dragon fruit pink. Okay, so that doesn't smells like anything. Okay, we're going to go into the pot. Okay, so let's add our dragon fruit. Um, I feel it's going to be extremely light, so I think I'm going to be adding more. I'm going to measure more of the dragon fruit powder because I think it's going to be way too pale. So I'll double it up. Let's add another. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit darker. And the reason why I wanted to double it when I saw the color of the pink in the pot is because we know that once it's dry and on the skein, it's going to be much paler. So I just want to avoid to have too like a too soft pink. I don't mind pastels. I think it's very pretty. I just think that I would like something a little darker. Okay. And the yarn has been pre-soaked with some citric acid already to help the dye take. on the skeins of yarn. I'm going to turn this on. There you go. And you can already see that the color is being absorbed and it's striking the yarn. And there's almost no color already. Okay, I'm going to be adding some citric acid, even though we had citric acid in the pre-soak bath. Okay, well, we'll let this cook for a little bit. And we'll come back to it later. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so I took the time to research a little bit more about dragon fruit in general, and what I was able to find out is that there is natural tannin in the dragon fruit, which would make it easier to absorb into the yarn because we know that tannin is a natural mordant. So adding the citric acid with the natural tannin in the dragon fruit, it made it super easy for the color to be absorbed, and I had no bleeding. I had a fully clear bath, and what I noticed is that you noticed that I did add an extra 2 grams of the dragon fruit powder that I had dissolved, which is probably why I had weird patches in the final result that I will show you. But also, sorry. But also with natural dye, we need to use a bigger quantity of the either dry powder, or if we're using flowers, like a bigger quantity in general to be able to obtain colors that are saturated the same way as the citric acid dyes that I use usually. So this is definitely something that I have to take into consideration for the next time. So let's let it dry and I will see the final result in a second. And here's the final result of me using the dragon fruit dry powder I found in my cabinet earlier when I was cleaning up the kitchen. It's very cute. However, what I noticed here is that I have some patches that are not very cooperative here. I believe that's because the water was a little warmer than what I was supposed to use. Because when I'm doing a tonal, I usually try to start cold to have a better coverage of the yarn. And here I didn't do that. I think my water was closer to lukewarm, warm rather than cold tap water. So it started to strike unevenly on the yarn, unfortunately. It's very pretty though. I really like it. And I was very surprised to see how clear the bath was. So that was a nice surprise. I will definitely try again dyeing with dragon fruit powder. It's just a little expensive, so if you don't need to do it, don't do it. I don't know if I could maybe I could do my own dragon fruit, but that would be also quite expensive because they are expensive. Anyways, it was a fun experiment. I made room in my pantry, which makes me very happy. And if you've liked the video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye!